Local government teams shouldn't have to waste time on manual data entry into outdated systems. With Symphony 3 Smart Glue, you don't have to. You can automate repetitive tasks, eliminate double handling, and connect legacy systems with ease. Smart Glue helps councils streamline operations, reduce errors, and deliver better services without replacing your existing systems. It's time to build smarter, more connected local governments. Learn more at www.symphony3.com. Symphony 3, supporters of the Local Government News Roundup. Coming up, Moorabool puts its case to VCAT over an EPA clean-up order. A fight to stop a proposed new McDonald's restaurant in Darebin. The Victorian Government denies the council's kangaroo harvesting request. A new report puts a number on government cost shifting. A tragedy in Townsville involving a council waste truck. The cost of councillor conduct legal disputes revealed in Adelaide. And the council amalgamation debate reignites in Western Australia. Hello, I'm Chris Eddy. All of that and more just ahead on Australia's #1 local government news podcast. It's the Local Government News Roundup, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. Hello and thanks for tuning in to the Roundup. It's Friday, the 11th of July, and Moorabool Shire Council has appeared in VCAT asking for a stay on an EPA order to clean up an illegal dumping site by the 25th of July. The matter was subject to a preliminary hearing on Wednesday. Mayor Paul Tatchell said the tribunal gave the council a fair hearing as it argued the EPA should use its legislated powers to remove illegally dumped containers. He said the EPA indicated that if a stay is granted, there is a possibility it will do just that, an outcome that the council believes would be equitable in all the circumstances. The tribunal's decision on the matter is expected next week. A battle is brewing in Melbourne's inner north, where fast food giant McDonald's has submitted plans for a 24-hour restaurant on what Time Out magazine recently crowned the world's coolest street. The Age reported that the proposal for a new McDonald's on Northcote's High Street has already sparked fierce opposition, with more than 1,000 locals signing a petition against the development. The Northcote Business Association has voiced strong opposition, with its president warning it would have dire implications for local food businesses and change the tone of what we are. McDonald's Australia says the restaurant would represent a $2 million investment and create over 100 jobs. The proposal, submitted to Darebin Council on the 2nd of July, would operate 24/7 but would not include a drive-through. The council has confirmed receiving the application, which remains in initial assessment with a decision months away. It said formal objections cannot be lodged until the application is officially advertised, at which point the proposal will be evaluated against relevant planning schemes. Yarra Ranges Council says it's disappointed with the Victorian State Government's decision to retain the municipality within the kangaroo harvesting program's Gippsland harvesting zone. The council had formally requested the exclusion in May this year, but the Minister for Environment said analysis indicated a higher level of kangaroo harvesting activity in Yarra Ranges when compared to neighbouring councils. The council said it remains concerned about the program's potential impacts on local ecosystems and community values and will continue to advocate for transparency, community consultation and protection of the region's unique biodiversity. Rural Councils Victoria is taking steps to ensure transparency for ratepayers in relation to what they're calling an unfair new tax. The Emergency Services Volunteer Fund levy is being imposed by the Victorian Government, with councils required to collect it from ratepayers. RCV Chair, Councillor Rob Amos from Campaspe Shire, has described it as a rotten tax that should be scrapped. RCV has created a template for rates notices that clearly identifies it as a government charge with a red box, ensuring ratepayers know exactly what they're paying and to whom. The levy is expected to extract tens of millions of dollars from rural areas, though some drought-affected zones have been granted exemptions. Councillor Amos says it's disappointing that councils are being forced to collect what he terms an unjust tax on the government's behalf. The City of Ballarat is also looking to clearly delineate the levy on its rates notices, something Deputy Mayor Ben Taylor told me is important for transparency to ratepayers.
We just had a quick look at a draft notice, and that was something that the councillors put to the organisation as well, to come up with a notice that can highlight what is the state government charges. We have a red box with saying here is the state government charge. It is a real challenge for that. We're going to see about $6.5 million come out of our ratepayers to go to that levy in Ballarat. And that's a lot of money for this financial year coming out, in addition to their normal rates. The sad thing is the community don't know the difference. They don't understand. They look at the total amount. And that's where the challenge as well, but also the waste charges. So we have our rates notice, which is the property. We have our waste charges under that. And this year we're going to FOGO. And also then we've got the mandate around glass that's going to change a cost to ratepayers too. So the hard thing is we're doing all the hard work from a financial point of view, but then there's other things that happen that are included that can affect that bottom line.
Ballarat Deputy Mayor Councillor Ben Taylor there. He was speaking to me about the council's process to deliver a budget with a 0% average rate increase. Look out for that interview on an upcoming edition of VLGA Connect. Ballot packs are in the mail for the postal by-elections for North West Ward in Darebin and Layla Ward in Whittlesea. Voters should expect the material to arrive by the 22nd of July, and the VEC is encouraging return of ballots by 6 p.m. Friday the 1st of August. Voting is compulsory for state-enrolled voters as of the 21st of May. Kingston Council has welcomed $28 million in federal funding to improve 2 traffic hotspots. $25 million will go to upgrading the Thompson Road-Mornington Peninsula Freeway intersection, while $3 million has been allocated to the McLeod Road Station Street intersection works. While the council appreciates the investment, it says additional funding will be necessary to fully address the bottlenecks and accommodate population growth in Melbourne's southeast. In other funding wins for councils, Murrindindi Shire has secured $875,000 for the $1.54 million Kinglake Memorial Reserve Oval upgrade project. That will deliver comprehensive improvements, including enhanced drainage, drought-tolerant turf and a new synthetic cricket pitch. The project represents a successful collaboration between council and local sporting clubs, with Mayor Damien Gallagher noting that persistence was the key to securing the competitive funding after 2 previously unsuccessful applications. And the Victoria Park soccer field in Daylesford will receive nearly $270,000 from the state government's Regional Community Sports Infrastructure Fund to install 100 lux-level lighting for the 2026 season. Hepburn Shire says the upgrade is important for supporting increased participation in sports, particularly among women and girls, noting that the club's membership has doubled over the past 2 years. And at Baw Baw Shire, the Mayor, Councillor Danny Goss, has moved a bereavement motion to extend sincere condolences to the family of Brian Davies on his recent passing. Mr Davies was a Shire of Warragul and rural city of Warragul councillor from 1986 to 1995. His service to the community included 2 terms as mayor in 1990 and 1994. Valet Brian Davies. Let's grab some more Victorian news in brief. Construction has officially commenced on the Dandenong Wellbeing Centre at Mills Reserve, a $20 million project funded partly by the Australian Government that will replace the ageing Dandenong Oasis. The new centre, being built by Adco Constructions, is scheduled to open in 2027 and represents the largest investment ever made by the city of Greater Dandenong. Gannawarra Shire Council has reduced footpath trading permit fees from $65 to $10 in its new budget to support small businesses. The 85% reduction aims to help local businesses manage increasing costs while promoting their goods and services to residents and visitors. And the city of Moorabool will soon have a mental health and wellbeing local facility opening later this year to provide free mental health support services without requiring GP referrals or Medicare cards. The news has been welcomed by the Mayor, Councillor Pradeep Tiwari, who said it addresses a key advocacy priority for the council following recent tragic events in Footscray. It's the Local Government News Roundup for Friday the 11th of July. This is edition number 475. And I have a message for you from our lead sponsor, the Victorian Local Governance Association. Registrations are now open for the VLGA's Mayoral Leadership Program. The program is in its second year. It's designed to equip mayors and deputy mayors with the knowledge they need to lead their council effectively and with good governance at their foundation. It's now mandatory for mayors and deputy mayors to undertake training at the commencement of each mayoral term. Under the new Victorian Government reforms, this training must be completed by the 31st of December. The VLGA Mayoral Leadership Program will be held on Friday the 28th of November from 9:30am to 4:30pm at the Monash Conference Centre in Collins Street, Melbourne. The full-day program will cover the roles and responsibilities of a mayor, the mayor-CEO relationship, how to chair a council meeting, managing difficult conversations, dispute resolution and effective communications and media training. Places are filling fast, so register now via the VLGA website. And if you book by the 1st of August, you'll receive an additional 10% off listed prices. Heading our New South Wales report today, a Local Government New South Wales commissioned report has found cost shifting from state and federal governments has reached $1.5 billion annually, representing a 10% increase from previous years and a staggering $11.3 billion over the past decade. The financial burden amounts to nearly $500 per ratepayer being diverted from essential local services like roads, libraries and community programs to cover state responsibilities. LG New South Wales President Phyllis Miller, OAM, warns that councils are at breaking point due to this unsustainable practice, calling for genuine reform, including regulatory changes and fair funding arrangements. Lismore City Council's new General Manager has been revealed since our last episode. Iba Boutron has been appointed after serving in an acting capacity since April. He succeeds John Gibbons, who resigned for personal reasons earlier this year. Mr Boutron has been with the council since 2021. Mayor Steve Krieg said Mr Boutron will continue the work that Mr Gibbons started in improving the efficiency of council operations and putting the organisation on a path back to financial sustainability. Liverpool Mayor Ned Manoon has welcomed the announcement of a major upgrade to the M5 motorway jointly funded by New South Wales and federal governments. The motorway will include a new 3-lane toll-free bridge over the Georges River and improvements to key interchanges. The project aims to reduce congestion and improve safety on this critical transport corridor that serves Liverpool's growing population and connects to the Western Sydney International Airport. An extraordinary meeting of Newcastle City Council has been scheduled for the 12th of August to address an application from Rising Tide to use community land for its People's Blockade event later in the year. Lord Mayor Ross Kerridge said he'd called the special meeting to ensure timely consideration of the application and allow thorough debate before the council makes its decision. The application requests use of Richardson Park and Camp Shortland. And Wagga Wagga City Council is hopeful of securing a long-term lease for the local airport from the Royal Australian Air Force, with an expected outcome around September after submitting a proposal in June. The council has been in negotiations with Defence for over 12 months, seeking a lease that would enable further investment and position them to apply for federal and state grant funding. If successful, the council plans to develop a long-term master plan for the entire airport precinct and complete detailed designs for the overdue airport terminal upgrade. Also making news from New South Wales Councils, Blue Mountains has introduced a solar panel recycling program at its Blaxland and Katoomba facilities, charging $15 for undamaged panels and $20 for damaged ones. The program will divert solar panels from landfill, with over 90% of the components to be recycled or reused in the circular economy. The May flooding event has damaged a partially constructed bridge at Melville, and Maitland City Council says it's caused a delay of at least 4 months to the $8.2 million project. Once completed, the new bridge will be stronger and taller than the original structure, significantly reducing flood-related closures. And West Wyalong High School students are partnering with Bland Shire Council to gain hands-on experience in parks and gardens maintenance. The initiative is part of the council's youth engagement strategy, fostering community pride and showcasing career opportunities in local government. Let's head on up into Queensland. A tragic story out of Townsville. An 85-year-old woman has died after being struck by a City Council garbage truck in Bushland Beach. ABC News reported that the incident occurred just after midday on Wednesday. The council's CEO, Joe McCabe, said the council is cooperating fully with investigations by the Queensland Police Service and Workplace Health and Safety Queensland. Mr McCabe said that safety remains the council's top priority while expressing sympathy for those affected. He said no further comment would be made during the investigation process. Sunshine Coast Council is pushing ahead with the Caloundra Transport Corridor upgrade, a 1.6 kilometre project designed to reduce congestion at a major intersection, despite community petitions for an independent review. Sunshine Coast News reported that the project has been hit by delays, originally intended to be completed by late last year. Construction is now expected to start late this year, with completion targeted for 2027. A Scenic Rim Council Advisory Committee has reiterated its support for Lake Wyaralong as the ideal venue for rowing events in the Brisbane 2032 Olympic Games. The committee, which includes Olympian Madeline Hasselgrove, has welcomed findings from the recent Games Independent Infrastructure and Coordination Authority review that found previous concerns about the venue have been successfully addressed. Committee chair and former NRL player, councillor Marshall Chalk, said Lake Wyaralong represents the most cost-effective option while providing a lasting legacy for Queensland's sporting community. Accommodation for more than 1,500 athletes and officials has now been secured within a 35-minute travel radius of the venue, addressing earlier logistical concerns. The purpose-built rowing facility continues to host premier rowing events and is located within the South East Queensland Olympic Zone, less than an hour from Brisbane and the Gold Coast. To South Australia, in Adelaide, a city councillor's legal battle has raised questions about ratepayer funds being used for internal disputes. As reported by In Daily this week, Adelaide City Council has spent nearly $40,000 in legal costs related to complaints brought by Councillor Henry Davis. Those figures were revealed at Tuesday's council meeting. Councillor Davis took the council to the Supreme Court after being investigated for sending a two-word text message during a council meeting, which violated updated meeting procedures. The court dismissed Davis's application for judicial review in March. Deputy Lord Mayor Philip Martin raised concerns about the costs, which include the $39,113 in direct legal expenses and other costs covered by insurance. Councillor Davis, who is currently overseas, defended his legal action in a statement, saying he hoped to set a precedent to protect councillors from abuse of process and called for reforms to dismiss trivial or vexatious complaints. It all seems to be happening in Western Australia at the moment. The Shire of Coolgardie says it has terminated CEO James Trail's employment following an Auditor-General's report that identified serious financial mismanagement issues. Mr Trail had been suspended since November last year amid workplace culture allegations. Aaron Cook will continue as acting CEO, while the Shire works to address what Shire President Malcolm Cullen called unprecedented financial and reputational damage. Bunbury Mayor Jason Miguel has stirred debate by claiming Western Australia has excess local governments. ABC News reported that he's advocating for Bunbury to merge with neighbouring shires. Miguel has told a local podcast that Bunbury ratepayers unfairly fund regional facilities used by surrounding areas, and he sees consolidation as inevitable. Dardanup Shire President Tyrrell Gardner opposes the idea, concerned that smaller communities would lose representation and calling Councillor Miguel's proposal an attempt to retain influence. Local Government Minister Hannah Beasley has confirmed the government's position that no forced amalgamations are planned and any mergers should be voluntary, a position that is shared by the WA Local Government Association. And a consortium of Perth councils has launched a pioneering regional fox management program to combat the increasing threat to native wildlife, particularly after recent extreme weather conditions heightened animal vulnerability. WA Today reported that the Perth Southwest Metropolitan Alliance is establishing monitoring sites and coordinating control efforts across municipal boundaries, demonstrating how collaboration can improve outcomes and reduce costs compared to individual council initiatives. The alliance comprises the councils of Rockingham, Coburn, Kwinana, Fremantle, East Fremantle and Melville. Some more news briefs for you. In Tasmania, Clarence City Council has commenced work on a new 1.5 hectare sensory off-lead dog park in Cambridge. The Mercury reported it's the first major part of a master plan for the suburb, and it's set to open early next year. And in the Northern Territory, the NT News reports on a change of policy at the City of Darwin with regard to land disposal. Any proposed sale of public land must now be subject to a minimum 4 weeks notice period, during which residents can have a say. The consultation will not be binding, but will be reported to the council before it makes a final decision. You're listening to the Local Government News Roundup for Friday the 11th of July, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, with a new edition of VLGA Connect coming away later today. And thanks also for their support for the podcast to Symphony 3, bringing you simple, connected customer experiences. Check out their Smart Glue solution. Find out more at symphony3.com. Let's head overseas for some stories getting attention in local government circles. In New Zealand, firstly, the New Zealand Local Government Commission has decided to investigate reorganisation of local government in the Southland region, following a reorganisation initiative from Southland District Council proposing 2 unitary authorities. The Commission has determined there is sufficient potential to improve local government in Southland. The next step will be to draft, adopt and notify an investigation process in consultation with relevant stakeholders. Wellington City Council has released its pre-election report, highlighting significant challenges including rates affordability, infrastructure needs, community engagement and impacts of central government reforms. The report is produced to inform potential candidates and voters about the city's current state and future opportunities. Candidate nominations are open now until the 1st of August. In the UK, Birmingham City Council has confirmed that it has ended negotiations with the Unite union over a long-running bin dispute. Council leader John Cotton said Unite has rejected all offers, and the council will now press ahead to address its equal pay risk and make improvements to the waste service. Unite claims the council is using fire and rehire tactics and warns strikes may continue through Christmas and beyond. Cumberland Council and Westmoreland and Furness Council have requested to defer the proposed 2026 Cumbria mayoral election to May 2027. It says a deferral would save around £1 million and align with local council elections, as well as provide more preparation time for establishing a new combined authority. The UK government has yet to confirm if statutory tests for devolution have been met. And Camden Council is facing potential legal action from a resident backed by the Christian Legal Centre over its transgender awareness crossing, which was painted in the transgender pride flag colours of pink, blue and white. Localgov.co.uk reported that the council intends to reject arguments that the crossing breaches equality duties, maintaining that it serves as an important visual statement celebrating Camden's LGBTQ+ community and history. And finally to the US, in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, a changing of the guard at City Hall as the former Mayor David Weir steps into the role of city manager following the retirement of Earlene Teester, Tennessee's longest-serving city manager. The Mountain Press reported that Mr. Weir was unanimously selected by his fellow commissioners and has officially accepted the position. He's served on the City Commission since 2009 and has been the mayor since 2011. The transition sees Mr. Weir trading his ceremonial duties as mayor for the day-to-day operational responsibilities of running the popular tourist destination. Vice Mayor Kevin McClure is expected to step into the mayoral role until the next election. City officials will now begin the process of appointing someone to complete Mr. Weir's commission term, which runs through 2027. We've reached the end of another week on the Local Government News Roundup. I hope you found something of interest or value in this week's programs. This was edition number 475, recorded on the morning of Friday, the 11th of July, 2025. If you have comments, feedback, story ideas, you can send an email to lgweeklynews@gmail.com or press the send a text button in your podcast player. The podcast is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. The Roundup is recorded in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. Until next time, thanks for listening and bye for now. The next VLGA-LGIU Global Executive Live panel is on Tuesday the 22nd of July, exploring the topic of building the local economy. It will be held online from 5:30pm to 7pm, with panellists including Dr. Angela Jackson from the Australian Productivity Commission, David Marlow, Chief Executive of Third Life Economics, and Merrin Tinkler, Manager Economy and Culture at Mount Alexander Shire Council. They'll explore the role of local government in economic growth, ways to ensure local economic planning remains resilient to economic changes, and what the shared challenges and opportunities are for local economic performance. Global panels are free for VLGA members and alumni and $60 for non-members. Visit the VLGA website to register now.